6'11" centers like that, you can still move off of them if you want. And what we saw out of Noah Clowney at the end of last year, I am looking forward to being able to have a starting center for the foreseeable future. That's good. But now it's what we end up doing after this. It's depending on what do we move Dorian and CJ for. I think that would be great. We'll see what we do with Ben and what we do with Dennis Schroeder. Those will be interesting players that we see happens. I think probably Ben will be the guy that doesn't and nothing happens with right now. But those three guys that I mentioned and Boyan's another guy that we could also move off of today. So it's nice. We have a lot of stuff going on. This is exciting. We can actually have this is a lot different than any other draft stream that we've done before. We actually are we don't have a pick, but yet we're still in tank mode. Crazy to think, but we're still probably going to trade into today's draft from what we've seen. So, hey, looking forward to it. We got some stuff to look forward to tonight.
Talking about the Clax. I was gonna say, talking about the Clax deal, $25 million may be a lot, but think about it. We didn't trade him at the deadline, right? So that means it's either you let him walk for free or you kind of have to overpay. And that's overpaid. But since we're gonna suck the first 2 years now, since we have our tanking picks back, it'll probably be front loaded. That's something to think about, no?
Yeah, but I also think I'm gonna wait for me to get into the Claxton conversation till AJ gets here. But it's all it is. If I'm looking for a shall I say a positive twist on it, is let's be honest, there's still certain parts of his game that still need work. So if we're going down that development path and everything, like everybody pretty much is going to be developing, that's going to be on this team. Like I understand it. So we'll see though. But I do agree kind of with what Rage was saying. It's like, even if you feel like you have to get rid of more, or he's not, maybe he becomes unhappy at some point. It's like, yo, trade me. I don't think it's going to be difficult to trade him as long as he's like continuing to play well. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, whatever. Listen, when he took the deal from the Nets the first time, you pretty much, in my opinion, like, what was his first words when it was ready? He was like, I played ball. You know what I mean? Like, he's brought it up. How he sacrificed for the team.
And they almost traded him a couple times too.
Yeah, and I get that from his perspective. Hell yeah. That's how I would, like, if you came to me and said, hey, take a pay cut, but we're going to get you. Yeah, and you don't reward that. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to say some shit. So
and if OKC were to offer him $30 million, why would he not go to the first seed in the West over us on a pay cut? Like,
but hey,
why would that make sense for Nic Claxton at all?
But dude, we talked about some things. There's reasons why players stay in certain areas. I'd like to know official offers that he did receive. That is something I'm going to be interesting to find out. Is like, what did other teams offer him? Similar or less, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
can I tell you something that I heard? I heard it from one of my sources that if the deal was if the Thunder would have offered him, I don't know, like $5 million or less, he probably would have gone to the Thunder or Memphis. So that means the next deal probably was a lot less, or at least more than $5 million, I would say. That's what I heard a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, but we also talked about, like, the numbers were close. Like, there's other reasons. Like, I mean, he's all into fashion. He has that, like, deal. Like, so there's other reasons why.
Come on, you think he would stay because of a fashion
deal?
No,
yeah. You don't think there's people some of these wait a minute. Hold on a second, Pete. You're telling me in the age of social media and how younger players are today that you don't think where they live and what deals and other things enters their mind? It's just basketball? No way, dude. Not
overplaying for a winner and my paycheck. I could go to OKC and go fashion walk there, or go to Paris in the off season.
And you would have had to offer that man $30 million or more, but I doubt that nobody was going to offer that man that money. Sorry, nobody was going to offer him that much.
Well, at least it was good to know that we have our center locked down for now. We're going into a rebuild season that obviously is going to be rough, but being able to just have a guy that we can at least rely on is very good in a rebuild, considering we have a bunch of young guys that we still have to wait and see on. Obviously, Nic Claxton still has things that he can improve on, and that's what we're looking for throughout his contract in these next 4 years, is what he can develop on and how good this contract ends up looking for us, or if we move him. You never know what can happen. But at least
wait,
have the ability to do other things.
Did we already miss the first pick because we're talking about Nic Claxton?
Who cares?
But it's already out anyways.
No, it's part of the show.
I know. I'm just kidding. You know.
Did they pick yet? No, I can't. I just said pick was in, and I'm like, great. Did we miss it?
But speaking of all that,
is Woj? Hold on a second. Is Woj and are they ruining the draft again?
I hope so.
On Twitter. But anyways, go for it, dude.
I was gonna say, so realistically, what are our building blocks? Claxton, we know, is gonna be here. Probably Cam Thomas is gonna be here. Who else is gonna be someone that you say is gonna be here 2-3 years from now? That's on the roster right now.
God, dude.
So that's a good question, but we still have Jalen Wilson. We still have to see on Dariq Whitehead. There's things we can look at. I'm also looking forward to the summer league, seeing how Dariq Whitehead played in the G League he had last year in the games that he did play. It wasn't great, and it was actually not good at all. But he's 19, and things can change. He was a high prospect at the end of the day, and there's still hope. He was our first round draft pick just a year ago. He's only 19. There's still something there. But the good thing is that we have a bunch of picks. So if Dariq Whitehead doesn't turn out, at least we have 15 other future picks that we can look towards, or we could trade a pick and be like, okay, that's fine.
Do you guys consider Jalen Wilson a real building block, or someone who's just going to be like a role player? I consider him a role player.
Like, you're asking good questions, but let's be honest. Like, with what
we don't have any actual building blocks besides like Cam Thomas and Nic Claxton and Clowney. But
what I'm trying to say is, like, when you look at the coaching that they had the last season, they had two different coaches. You clearly saw players checked out all season. You had players waiting to get traded all season. You could tell nobody gave a shit. Like, if you really look at it and look what's happened and transpired, like, it was all there right in front of us. Like, so for me, it's like, you're going this route. Like, that means you're evaluating everybody that's on this roster. You're taking a shot on the people you draft, and there's people that are still going to remain. Like, Clowney's going to be, to your point, Pete, Clowney's going to be one of those players that will be here. We'll see with Jalen Wilson. I can't wait to see more, because there was a lot of times where you're like, yo, this kid can play, but then he would disappear because of not being put back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's going to be interesting. I mean, Dariq, to me, is all, if the dude stays healthy, no reason he's not going to be fun to watch. I hope Trendon I have a feeling, but the big questions are Trendon Wofford, Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr., Schroeder, stuff, guys like who's getting traded, who's not. Like, I couldn't even tell you who I think is going to be here in 3 years outside of Cam Thomas, Claxton, Clowney. Honestly, for me, outside of like those dude, Claxton, Clowney, and like Cam Thomas, I honestly don't know who could be here in 3 years.
At least we're in a spot so where we have so many picks, and we're gonna be able to be so bad to where we have a top pick in such a star-studded draft.
You gotta announce picks.
It looks to be But you can and there's still more moves you can make. We're not done. There's still other players that we can get that we can end up playing in a trade or
Hey,
something.
real quick, let me address something. Hey, Oren, like we run our own show. Like if you want to direct a show, go complain about shit somewhere else, man. Like we're just talking.
It's just Zachary Ricochet.
What's that?
I said it's just Zachary Ricochet.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
No, I just don't like. Come on, dude. It's like
it's
watch the show and hang out, or complain like somewhere else. Like,
okay, so they have 26 too. Oh, that's
awesome. Zachary Ricochet, number. I don't know shit about him. Like I said, this is up to you guys. I did not pay attention to college.
Yeah, I didn't even know that we were gonna get a pick until today. So
if we want to trade higher up into the draft, the people I have been thinking about was Cody Williams. That's the guy I've been thinking about. There's a lot of people talking about Ron Hollins. I don't know much about him, but I do know Cody Williams is a nice. He's a solid like 3-and-D wing, and we could use that. I think he's 19. He just came out of freshman Colorado. He had a solid year, shot the lights out from 3. I'd really like him if we were to go at like 9 or something. There's Topich. I feel like that's a guy you take a shot on for the simple fact that you already didn't have a pick in this year's draft anyways, and this guy was a top 5 projected talent the whole time. So if you wanted to go a guard for a future guard and just see it, you could see what's up there. And then later, there's the bigs. There's Khalil Ware, who's very, very like polarizing offensively. Like he's dominant in the paint. He can shoot the 3. He didn't shoot it necessarily he didn't shoot a lot. It wasn't a lot of attempts, but he shot it at a very solid efficiency, and his offensive game is very versatile. 7 foot, 220. He can get a little bit quicker, but he has the ability to move on to other guys. That's a good possibility if you wanted to go and then a backup center out, because obviously we know now we have Claxton. But if you want to go higher up in the draft, we're looking at Cody Williams, Ron Hollins, and Topich. There's other guys too, but I'm also not insanely familiar with the draft as we haven't had a pick. So
yeah, this is why AJ needs this is AJ's wheelhouse. He's like, you need to start it up. I'm like, oh man.
I could say this about the draft.
What's that?
I could say this about the draft, that a lot of people felt CJ wasn't going to be able to get us a pick too high. But I'm hearing that the Nets could actually move into a top 15, top 16. I can't believe it that Dorian Finney-Smith and CJ would get you that, but I've been hearing that from multiple people.
I mean, who knows? Listen, until we hear it, I'm not the speculation. Like clearly, if something's going to happen, it's going to be announced, and this is how we're going to find it out. Like right when the pick is. Just an early reaction from a group chat I'm in. A couple Hawks fans are not happy. That's about all I know.
Okay, so Sarr's going to Washington. Alex Sarr, we knew that was probably going to happen. Another guy.
I want to see who Houston's going to take.
Now it's Houston. Now it is Houston's draft. Do they trade the pick? What happens? So interesting to see what they do with that 3rd overall pick. First 2 were kind of predictable. 3rd is definitely a lot more unpredictable. Maybe they go Clay in here and they trade Sengun, but I don't see why they'd move off Sengun. I guess they really view Donovan Clingan as a talent like that, but after what we've seen from Sengun over this past year especially, like I think it wouldn't really make sense for Houston to go all out on a center when they have Sengun already, and they could go after other players at 3rd.
All I care about. Yeah, my earlier thoughts, like with the Nets, if we do depending if we're higher, just I mean, I would. What do you think's our number one need in a pick? For me, I hope it's point guard.
I agree.
Like if you're in a position and there is a decent one out there, I'm like, I would much rather take a shot on a point guard. I don't. That's why
I can agree with that. I'm on. You're either getting a point guard or you're getting a wing, in my opinion. Unless you move off of Daron Sharp and you need a backup center to look for, I guess you can go in a drafting route.
AJ said Shams is ruining the draft, so it's like, fuck it. Like, what? If you got a TV, turn it on. If you got Twitter, like, holy
yeah, we're just here talking about Nets. We're honestly just
that's
waiting.
What I hate about the draft. Like,
and
this is the other. And now they split the draft in 2 days. Like, me personally, it's like, really, like, tomorrow's gonna be. No thanks. Like,
this is not the NFL.
Tankathon has Houston taking a
all
point
the
guard
picks before. Like, they should make the NBA should make a rule with the reporters, like saying if you tweet, you're banned for a year or something. I mean, it's like, well,
you can't really stop them, right?
I know it's so stupid though. It's like, why? Like, just to be the guy. It's like, why?
Didn't Woj not do it last year because like ESPN told him not to do it, and he didn't want to be like all hectic during the draft or something like that? Or maybe that was the NFL draft.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the details of it, but I do remember hearing something similar to what you just said.
Oh yeah, you guys heard about the Jimmy Butler news that he's not signing an extension. He's gonna be a free agent next year.
Yeah, that's also crazy. I guess it's with Miami, they've just been in an interesting place just for the past few years, like with the way they were able to make the finals, just the way they did, them being involved in Dame saying he wanted to go there, and that being a real thing after making the finals, and then just going back to it.
Houston gets Shepherd, a point guard. Could have helped us.
Yeah.
Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky.